Good morning, everyone. The readings that I'm going to be using this week are basically the Mass readings, and we'll be alternating between the Gospel of John, chapter 6, and also the Acts of the Apostles, which is the beginning of the early church. So, starting off with John's Gospel, chapter 6 this morning, we have the situation where there's a large crowd that is following Jesus. Now, this is after the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, so they have been fed already, and they're following him. It's also after the time when Jesus walks on water for the disciples. Most of the disciples wouldn't have seen it, and the apostles, those who were out in the boat, would have seen it. But word would have got around. So here are the people following after Jesus, 5,000 people, quite a big crowd. You wonder what the expectations of that crowd were. Ultimately, they were looking for food. They had been fed by Jesus. They were out in the wilderness. As I've said before, KFC and McDonald's hadn't been invented yet, so they were looking for food. The question is, what kind of food? And Jesus knew that they probably were just looking for physical food. And how would he be able to convince them that the food that he had to offer them, the real food, the food of his body, was something that they needed? So a real challenge for Jesus to do that. But he says, you must work for the food that endures to eternal life. Work for the food that endures to eternal life. And that is a challenge for us as well. We should continue to do that, to work for the food that endures to eternal life. And so, how do we do that? How do we make it real in our lives? Well, I would suggest that you need, first of all, to look at your prayer life. And the most effective time, I think, to pray is probably first thing in the morning. So begin the day with prayer. If you begin the day with the prayer, then you will be thinking about what you're going to be doing during the day, but saying, Lord, just be part of it. It's kind of like we say grace before meals. We thank the Lord for the food, then we eat it. So we say our prayers at the beginning of the day, and then we go out and we do the work that we need to do. But also, I think it's important to plan our religious practices. What is it that we actually need in order to be able to sustain or to grow our spiritual food? And I think in our busy lives, we need to just make sure that, yes, Sunday Mass is obligatory, but it should be something we want to do. But we've got to fit it into our routine to make sure it always happens. And the same, I think, applies to any of the other religious practices. We plan for them, they'll happen. If we don't plan for them, maybe not. You have a wonderful day and keep safe. God bless. Bye-bye.